Who are we if not just a reaction to an action? Are we ever in control of our lives, or are we just a shadow of our families, the embodiment of society's expectations, or the predestined version of ourselves, molded by our own fear of creating our own character? The Breaking Bad spin-off drama series Better Call Saul has a lot of themes and ideas, but this theme of identity and becoming a worse version of yourselves is a core element of the show. In today's video, I want to examine one of these themes and how it might shape the final season of the show and the fate of Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler. Everything here is just speculation on my part, but I think this would be a very satisfying ending to the story of these two characters. But before I start with my intro, I would be thrilled if you left a like, a subscription and a comment under the video with your thoughts on the ending of Better Call Saul and what you would like to see. And now, on to the video. What came first, the egg or the chicken? In Better Call Saul, this simple question becomes an intriguing debate about the relationship between the two brothers Chuck and Jimmy McGill. Jimmy has always played with his definition of morality, frustrating his brother Chuck, who presents himself as a moral absolutist due to his job as a lawyer. But there is an underlying sadness to the relationship between the two brothers, because it's heavily implied that Jimmy yearns for the love and respect of his brother, even going so far as becoming a lawyer himself. It's immensely apparent that Jimmy looks up to Chuck and tries his best to become the man that Chuck seems to be. The question that popped in my head was, is Chuck the reason why Jimmy became the way he became? What came first, the egg or the chicken? Did Chuck not love Jimmy enough, therefore setting him up for a life of shortcuts, crime and self-loathing? Or was Jimmy always this way and Chuck was right to not have a lot of respect for Jimmy because he knew what kind of person Jimmy really was and would become? This interesting dynamic even pushes more interesting ideas and theories about their relationship into the foreground. Chuck suffered from a mental disorder, but I always wondered if there was an actual cause for his disease, and since Jimmy has bothered him with a lot of troubles over the years, I always thought that maybe it's even hinted that Jimmy pushed Chuck to his mental and emotional breaking point. Season 5 left us with the two characters Jimmy, or I guess Saul now, and Kim Wexler, his wife, in a very unusual dynamic that is also making fans' heads spin. The season ends with Kim, who we always assumed was more of a victim of Jimmy's mistakes, actually pushing him into a new, very dark and unexpected cruel place where they both basically sabotage Howard Hamlin, a character that we first hated, but I kind of like the guy now. And all that Kim and Jimmy are doing is just for making money and doing another one of their little schemes to push their egos. The fan discussion about this exchange of their plan has been very back and forth about who is the bad egg between the two characters, and I think it perfectly shows the idea of the chicken and egg theory I mentioned beforehand. It's like a yin and yang situation. Both of these people influence each other, and the series is directly communicating this idea that it also communicated with Chuck and Jimmy. Sometimes relationships, especially with family and loved ones, are toxic, and distance might be the best way to end the cycle of pain and losing yourself. So, what is my prediction of the ending to Better Call Saul, you ask? Well, let's get some basics out of the way because I want to continue with Jimmy and Kim. I think it's safe to say that Lalo will be killed because of this line in Breaking Bad.
He was the only family you had left. Now, the Salamanca name dies with you.
Nacho, on the other hand, I'm not sure, but since this is the last season, I also expect him to die. Why? Well, since this series is also heavily referencing Breaking Bad, I compared the two series and I think Nacho and Hank actually have a lot in common. Both characters are at first presented in a way that suggests that they are antagonists and not very likable. But while you don't agree with all of their decisions, we see their more empathetic sides and how they grow as people, despite living in a dark and terrible surrounding. That is why I think Nacho will die, just like Hank. It's the last season of this series and I think it would be necessary to showcase the brutal reality of this world that the creators built. A world where even honorable men die to their own faults. If I had to pick a way he dies, I would suggest that he defeats Lalo only to be murdered behind the back of Mike by Gus and Gus' men, showcasing to the audience just how terrible and dangerous Gus really is as a person. But now let's jump over to Jimmy and Kim. This series has always been about losing yourself to your inner demons, your ego, your dark shadow, your Saul Goodman. So with the situation now where Jimmy and Kim plan their biggest coup yet, their biggest scheme, I think it would be a fitting end to both characters by letting Jimmy go one step too far and finally becoming the sneaky, disgusting Saul that we know. How do you ask? By backstabbing Kim. So I picture the whole ending as a courtroom drama and basically the two of them being in a position where, due to their plans with Howard that for some reason backfired, now got them in legal troubles. And they are basically backed into a corner, one step away from prison. In this desperate situation, Jimmy shows his real face and he backstabs Kim, claiming the plan was her idea in the first place, and due to his ability as Saul, he's able to not take responsibility for his actions and everything that changed Kim, which leads to him living as a free man as Saul Goodman, but Kim being the one who's going to prison and taking all the blame for the plan and their actions. This would be a perfect way how to end Jimmy's transition to Saul. It's tragic and pathetic, but that is what he always was, and since there's the whole Kimmy situation, that also seems to be a perfect setup for both of them going too far. So Kim, the only person who defended Jimmy the whole time, goes to jail, being blamed on, at least in big parts, his crimes. Jimmy is all alone, but now hidden behind the facade of Saul Goodman, and we end our show in the present with Saul's new identity, Gene Takovich. In Breaking Bad, Walter's fate was death. In El Camino, Jesse escaped. So for Better Call Saul, I think the best way to end this trilogy would be for Gene to go to prison. Because then we would have all the options for a life of crime and it would perfectly fit into the main ending of Jimmy I just discussed. In the last hours before Walt's death, while not being a great person, I think he still tried to do some good by apologizing to Skyler and saving Jesse. So there's some sort of redemption arc here. I think they are going to do the same thing with Gene, and him being the one who turns himself into jail due to his constant paranoia and fear of getting caught and regret. It would also perfectly echo the scenes beforehand where he put Kim into a prison and show that he's ready to pay for his sins too, even if it took him a long time to get to this point. In the last season, he talks about taking care of it himself. And while that might sound like he's about to kill the cab driver, I think this might refer to him actually doing the right thing and turning himself in. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong and I overestimated Jimmy. Maybe Gene is too far gone, has broken bad too many times, and maybe Chuck was right. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos. Until next time, stay pulpy and stay artsy. See ya!